Hi there, I am Satoshi Nakamoto, and get a little bit of popcorn, maybe a couple skewers, because we're going to do some troll roasting in a fun way. It's as always, I don't have a script. This is just me talking off the cuff. It's really crazy. So all the time, whether it's on YouTube videos, online posts, or whatever, I get the same stuff. Oh, it's a scam. Oh, you're not Satoshi. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And it's all completely baseless. So I figured we'd address some of the higher level ones. Now, I will say that as individuals, yeah, trolls, you have no bearing on my life whatsoever. Things you say don't bother me. I really don't care. I don't need your approval. For 16 years, I never needed any of your validation, your approval, or otherwise. So, that being said, let's see. There were only two troll comments, we'll call it, that I considered even noteworthy at all. The rest of it's just garbage, and we'll talk about that. So the first most ridiculous one is about my personal life. Yeah, you think that trying to attack my personal life is, once again, it's going to bother me, going to make a difference. Yes, so of course the comment that I'm referring to, it must have been somebody that knows me because they know details about my life. But anyways, they said, oh yes, you're not even married, and oh yeah, Olga left you because you're a huge scammer. Yeah. Okay, that's funny. Honey, could you come give me a kiss, please? Nice, sweetie.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, guys.
Wow. So that's a really pretty ring. Yeah. Doesn't look like she left me. Looks like things are just fine. So, first myth, debunked. That's pretty ridiculous. So, thanks, sweetie. The second one, I'm actually just going to read this from the tablet because I already roasted this guy once. Yeah, it's really crazy because these people, you trolls out there, you spend more time trying to tear me down and say negative things than actually doing something constructive with your life. I mean, I would say, geez, I'm really sorry that your life is so empty and so devoid of any happiness that you have to try and hate on other people. But, yeah, you're actually not really nice people. So I'm not sorry that your life sucks. So, but I will say it is possible for someone such as me to be smart, create something, be a creator, but not be living in my mom's basement, being a fatso, eating Cheetos like you, and never having a date in my life. Yeah, it is actually possible to have all those things. So, anyways, back to this ridiculous comment. This was on just one of the videos. We'll leave this person nameless, but it says, I really didn't think Satoshi would turn out to be a SQL DBA. Satoshi is and always has been pro open source. I think this claim is bullshit. This appears to be a shill for Fractal. This is actually a really excellent troll attempt because it covers many points. First, I'm just going to read my direct reply to him. First part is about being a SQL DBA. My reply, you're old enough to know better than to embarrass yourself with ignorant comments. Number one, there is no comparison between a SQL DBA, which is a database administrator, whose responsibilities are operational, maintenance, performance, and upkeep. A SQL DBA is nothing like a data architect. That's the person who creates the data models, the structure, and how it works. Not the person who's basically the janitor that maintains it. Number two, the selection of Berkeley DB for transactions, wallets, addresses, marketplace, and reviews was done because of a clear understanding and need for write-ahead logging and robust recoverability, which SQLite did not have. So, a little known fact, the very first version of the Bitcoin source code did not use the Berkeley DB. It was actually handmade data files. See, I'm old, so let's cover that. Sorry, quick tangent. Yeah, back to the quick tangent on the trolls. Like, ooh, James Vertisan is a pseudonym. Geez, thanks. That's like that's a tip. I didn't know that. Let's be clear. My legal name is James Browning. Cat's out of the bag. On October 31st, on the 16-year anniversary, I revealed my identity. We'll tangent back to that, but yes, I'm James Browning. James Vertisan is a pseudonym. Satoshi Nakamoto is a pseudonym. Yeah, they both are. Where's the secret? You're like, yeah, the trolls, you think you're like some sort of Sherlock Holmes. Honestly, like at best, you're like McGruff the crime dog or Scooby-Doo. You mean your deductive skills for figuring out internet mysteries is really pathetic. Yeah, an ant has approximately 500 brain cells. A termite, yeah, just a little bit more. I think most of the trolls out there, you're somewhere in between ants and termites, but you're certainly not Sherlock Holmes. Okay, sorry for the tangent. Back to roasting this, most intelligent individual. We'll put him in the termite classification. I was talking about the selection of Berkeley DB. So before that, the very first version, the proof of concept for Bitcoin used a flat file, handmade database engine. So, right, that's how I ended up on the tangent. I'm old. I just turned 55 years old. I am technically a senior citizen now. Yeah, isn't that awful? But, anyways, my first commercial software product, I released that in 1987. I was 17 years old. That was a long, long time ago. Now, DBase 3, that ended up being the de facto standard prepackaged database engine. That was ported over to DOS, Microsoft MS-DOS, disk operating system, in 1986. Before that, it ran on different systems. But nonetheless, prior to that, if you wanted to have data within your application, within your product, you were responsible for creating the data file, reading and writing to the disk, allocating space, deciding how to create indexes, so on and so forth. Yeah, old people did that, like me. So the very first version of Bitcoin used that. Data files, .dat. Another little known fact. Yeah, Bitcoin originally had not just sending money, because that wasn't what it was being solved for. It was a data problem. Electronic cash that's a use case implementation. That's not the driving factor for what it was. It was a proof of concept about synchronizing data on a network. Nonetheless, the databases, the individual databases, there were the wallets, obviously, the blocks, yeah. A little known fact, okay, there was also a marketplace. There was Internet Relay Chat, IRC, and there was also reviews. The idea being, great, hey, I'm going to send money from person A to person B. Upon doing that, yeah, it'd be nice to be able to write some sort of review. Okay, that ended up getting scrapped. How many people know that was actually there in the first place? Or, for that matter, the IRC, Internet Relay Chat. So when Bitcoin came out, January 2009, For most of 2009, like all the way through September, so like 9 months, the only real improvements to Bitcoin, the source code, was improvements to the Internet Relay Chat, IRC. Not blocks, chains, sending, receiving, the nodes, discovery on a network. No. Honestly, the first 9 months was basically improving the Internet Relay Chat, which ended up getting scrapped altogether. Why? Well, anonymity. Sending from wallet address to a different wallet address is completely anonymous. For Internet Relay Chat, well, that requires an IP address. That is an identifier. So, kind of goes against the idea of total anonymity. So, by having the Internet Relay Chat, well, now you have to expose an IP address and thereby potentially compromising somebody's identity. So, hey, that's out. Okay. It's like 9 months worth of work. Well, that's out. Anyways, yeah, I digress quite a bit. I was reading this roast of Captain, yeah, this appears to be a shill for Fractal. Anyways, so the first implementation for persisting data was actually handmade data file, database engine for all those different things. So after that, then it was Berkeley DB. And as I said, the reason for that was to be able to have write-ahead logging, recoverability, important database features, because if you are sending money or any type of critical data, you need to be able to have recoverability. What happens in the event of failure? Okay, anyways. Number 3, a much more granular understanding of those requirements led to the selection of Berkeley DB, which was not the mainstream de facto standard at the time. I won't even bother to go into detail regarding the need for two-phase commits and checkpointing, especially across multiple threads. Yeah, these are advanced architectural topics. They are not SQL DBA. They're not the janitor. No, this is about creating the architecture in the first place. Yeah, we're just roasting trolls. We're roasting trolls. So I'll skip the whole explanation. I'll do that in another video about two-phase commits, checkpointing, and transactions and rollbacks. Anyways, I clearly had a deeply profound understanding for database architecture, and the granular requirements that were essential for an effective solution. This was much more decentralized, highly effective, big data problem long before it was electronic cash problem. Like I said, it was a data problem. In summary, you are completely talking out your ass to think for 1 second that I'm shilling anything or my claim is bullshit. By the way, Berkeley DB was open source. You should really do some actual research before embarrassing yourself with a personal attack on me. You don't even know the difference between a SQL DBA and an architect. Yeah, so let's talk about a couple other troll aspects from this guy, which shows up again and again and again in all these different trolls. Shilling for Fractal. I made a decision to reveal myself because I've spent the last 12 years making the replacement for Bitcoin and blockchain. It had hard architectural fails. It was never going to have the right DNA to be a global financial architecture. I mean, the amount of use it has now is just, wow, that's amazing. But it wasn't engineered or designed for that. Not even close. Because, like I said, it had hard architectural fails. Like what, you say? Okay, here's a couple examples. The Merkle tree. Being able to prune disk space, recoverability, blah, blah, blah. The Merkle tree has the possibility of generating duplicate transaction IDs. So imagine that. Oh, I send money, Bitcoin from person to person. What happens if it generates a duplicate transaction ID? Well, then we have a real problem. because now the transaction ID is not unique. So that's a hard fail. That is, do not release that into production for people in the world to use with real money. That's absolutely hard fail. The whole mining process, that's a hard fail. It consumes like 5% of like a nation's electricity. As I said, it was intended for a data solution like on a corporate network. Hey, maybe we have 10 servers, 50 servers, and want to be able to write data to any of them. Anyways, so yeah, shilling for Fractal. I've had to make a choice. I spent the last 12 years making the replacement, the right DNA from the ground up. Fractal is amazing. That's the equivalent of blockchain. Vertisan is a currency like Bitcoin. Vertisan is a currency powered by Fractal. The decision I had to make was whether I reveal my identity or not, because honestly, Fractal, it's the Mona Lisa. It is my life's work, and it is a true masterpiece. But it is massive, and it is huge. And everything that I've created has followed what I call my creator's pledge. So I don't profit from anything that I create. Not Bitcoin, not Vertisan, no. I gave away the entire supply of Vertisan. I spent 12 years creating this and gave it away. So, shilling for Fractal? If you look at the videos, never once do I say, ooh, you should buy some of what I created. In fact, I said the opposite again and again and again, which is, I'm a creator. I make things. If you see value in something I created, awesome, use it. If you don't, hey, don't use it. I honestly don't care because I have no vested interest. It's like painters paint, writers write, creators create. I make stuff. I don't make stuff so that I can make a profit. I make things because that's what I was created for. And frankly, my covenant, my contract is with a higher power. One entity only. It's not with the trolls. It's not with the general public. What I've created, I created for the benefit and the help of all 8 billion people on this planet. Effectively like an archangel looking out for those who can't look out for themselves. And that includes the trolls. Unfortunately, because you really don't deserve my my help, but nonetheless, you're part of the 8 billion people. So, yeah, anyways. Yeah, see, this is what happens when you don't have a script. I just start talking. But, oh, what was I saying? Yeah. Everything I create is for the benefit of others. I've devoted my life, almost 20 years now, to helping other people, not to scamming anyone. And speaking of scams, I see that again and again. Oh, it's a scam. Oh, scam, scam, scam. Well, sure, there's been endless shit coins, meme coins, and other stuff. Yeah, people are getting hurt, and it really sucks. Like, look at me. I have a broken blood vessel in my eye. My birthday was March 22nd. Once again, not a secret, trolls. You're not Sherlock Holmes. In fact, my birthday is in the source code. It was an Easter egg in the source code for Bitcoin. March 22nd, 1970, which then ended up becoming 1/1/1970. We'll save that for another video. But anyways, yeah, my birthday, hey, it was going pretty well. And then next thing I know, I wake up in the intensive care unit at the Princess Grace Hospital in Monaco. You're going, yeah, what happened? Yeah, not cool. That was not how I expected to spend my birthday. But that's what happened. So, yeah, not the first time I've had a broken blood vessel in my eye either. I've spent 194 days, 198 now, 198 days in the hospital during this period. That's a lot of time. The reason? Honestly, I work 136 hours a week for the last 3 years. 136 hours. How do I do that? There was not enough time in the day. All the meme coins, the shit coins, everything else. If Bitcoin wasn't open source, mean, that's the greatest mistake of my entire life. If it wasn't released as open source, there would be no Ethereum, there would be no Solana, there wouldn't be all these scams, there wouldn't be people getting hurt, being taken advantage of. Real scams. So it's been a very heavy burden for me, and I have literally been killing myself for years because I had the solution, Fractal. But it had to be created, programming, coding, building it. I do everything myself. I've always done everything myself. So there wasn't enough time in the day, and people getting hurt all the time. It just caused me incredible pain. So I switched to living on a 42-hour day. What does that mean? That means I work for 32 hours straight, take a shower, eat some food, and then sleep for 8 hours and repeat. I don't live on a 24-hour day. I live on a 42-hour day because there wasn't enough time in the day. And I've been doing that for the last 3 years straight. And it's time for my birthday. This is the first time I've been away from the computer in 2 years. So, I have literally been killing myself for years for you. That includes the trolls. All of humanity, and including the trolls. But Fractal's on. It's live. It's amazing, and it's been flawless. So, no, I don't shill for Fractal. As I said, I had to make a choice, and the choice was, do I start making videos that explain the tech I created? There's no pitch, there's no marketing, there's no promotion. That's against my policies as a creator. I make things. The videos that I put out, as you see, as people should see, are instructional. They just say, this is what I made, this is how it works. Whether you find value in that or not, that's up to you. I don't pitch anything, I don't promote anything, ever. Never. So scam? Where's the scam? I don't pitch, I don't promote, there's no advertising, there is no business, and I gave away the entire supply to charity. So, where's the scam in that? Oh, I live a nice life. Well, hey, guess what? When Bitcoin was released, I lived in a 9,000 square foot house and drove a Lamborghini. I'm not saying that to be arrogant, but that's a fact. It's like Satoshi Nakamoto. It's a fact. It's not something that, I'm going to trade on that. A Fractal speaks for itself. My new tech speaks for itself. I could be Joe Shit the Ragman. It doesn't matter. My tech speaks for itself. How I got there is just a matter of history. It's a matter of fact. I don't want to go back in time and relive Bitcoin era. No, that's ancient history. But yes, when it was released, I lived in a 9,000 square foot house and drove a Lamborghini. I did not need your money or anybody else's money. And Bitcoin wasn't really going to be, actual money. Because like I said, it shouldn't have seen the light of day. It had hard architectural fails. Anyways, yes, I don't live a bad life, but at the same time, it's not because I'm out jet skiing with somebody's money who bought some Fractal, bought some Vertisan, bought some Bitcoin. No, I've never sold any Bitcoin, never, and I never will. And that leads to another stupid troll comment all the time. Oh, if you're Satoshi, move some coins. For one, the only Bitcoin that could possibly be traced back to Satoshi Nakamoto is the Genesis block. That's it, the block reward, 50 Bitcoins. But here's the thing, it can't be spent. So even if I wanted to spend it, you couldn't spend it. Any block reward that came after that, maybe it's Satoshi, maybe it's somebody else. There's no way to prove it. So here's just the ignorance of the trolls out there. Just sorry, you have like little ant brains or termite brains. Move some Bitcoin. Prove you're Satoshi. What happens when one man has the ability to potentially flood the market with 5% of the entire global supply of Bitcoin? Just moving some demonstrates the possession of the keys and the ability to execute that. That creates fear. People, human beings, are emotional creatures. Just a fact. And most people that buy, whether it's cryptocurrency or stocks, when people invest, they're just trying to beat inflation because the government is just spending them into oblivion. People's money becomes worthless. So they invest. But they don't really understand what they're investing in. They don't. So, as emotional creatures, when I get some bad news, people panic. And what happens when people panic? Money evaporates. Now okay, I'll try and be polite. These supposed crypto experts, buy the dip. Meaning, like, when Bitcoin went from 100,000 down to 79, this is your best opportunity to buy. But what they don't tell you is all the people that just lost their life savings, have been devastated and are going to have to work every day till they're dead because of fear. Because they bought at 100 and then it started to go down. So they go, oh my God, I need to sell it. So, I'm a big crypto investor. Buy the dip. They don't even think about all the people's lives that got destroyed in that downturn. So, what happens if Satoshi Nakamoto moves some coins for vanity? It's like, I didn't need your attention for 16 years. I've only revealed myself to explain how Fractal works. Not to say, believe me. I don't care if you believe me or not. It doesn't matter. That's ancient history. It's just, like I say, it's a matter of fact. I didn't need your validation then. I didn't need it for 16 years, and I sure as hell don't need it now. So, believe me or not, it makes no difference to me. Scam? Absolutely not. I gave away the entire supply. The life I live has nothing to do with selling any Bitcoin or Vertisan or Fractal. It doesn't. Conspiracy theories, you're trying to find something wrong where there actually is nothing wrong. It is actually possible, believe it or not, for someone to have morals and values and to have dedicated their life to helping humanity. It really is a thing. Not everybody's out to rob everybody. So, the trolls. Yeah. It's a scam. They left you. Yeah, you're not Satoshi because, SQL DBA. It's little termite brains, and if you take all of the trolls and put them together, at best you have like an anthill in the middle of a gigantic field. So what you say has no bearing on my life. I mean, obviously I'm not upset about anything that you say. One final thought there. Yeah, people say, you delete comments on YouTube. If someone is slandering me and spreading straight up lies, like, it's a scam, he's a crook, of course it's going to be deleted because that's a lie. If you have, disagree with something I made, okay, great, write all your comments. Slander is slander. Lying is still lying. So there is no scam. It was donated to charity. I never sold any Bitcoin. It never will. I'm not going to move Bitcoin because that will destroy lives. That will cause the entire market to crash. And all the people who have put their life savings into Bitcoin trying to beat inflation and have something when they retire, I'm not going to ruin their lives because that is the exact opposite of what I've dedicated my life to doing, which is helping people. And another stupid comment. If you were Satoshi, it'd be all over CNN. Really? Well, why would that be? I mean, think about it. Anonymous for 16 years, I don't need your attention. Why would it suddenly be some big marketing campaign to be like, I'm Satoshi? No, honestly, it's Occam's razor. And for all the little termite brains out there with the trolls, that's OCCUM. You can look it up. Because basically, the most obvious answer is usually the right one. So, Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonym, disappeared April 2011. Magically, James Vertisan appeared April 2011. You can look at my Twitter account, or X. It's Vertisan. V as in Victor, Ertisam. Created April 2011. There are photographs of my whiteboards from 2008 and 2009 that show the diagrams for blockchain, that show the diagrams for a Bitcoin transaction. You want to believe me? Fine. You don't? I don't care. I really don't. All I care about is the path forward, which is Fractal. It's a masterpiece, and I'm incredibly proud of that. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter if my name is Bob or Bill or, Satoshi. Who cares? The tech is the tech, and it's amazing. So, trolls, you mean nothing. At best, it's more of like a nuisance to have to click on delete for comments like, oh, it's a scam, which is just a straight up lie. So, anywho, I could just ramble on forever. I'll probably just wrap this up. But, yeah. So, all the trolls out there, you're sitting in your mom's basement, you're big fat, stuffing Cheetos in your mouth and playing World of Warcraft or whatever the hell video game you're playing, and you've probably never been on a date in your life. That's not me. So, yeah. Let's go take a look here. Yeah. Where are we? We are in Monte Carlo. So see all these people down there? All the losers? Those are the people taking pictures of cars and people so they can post it on Instagram. This is the view from the inside, looking out. There's the casino, the square. Yeah. So, I'm going to wrap it up here, but what's going to happen now is I am going to go out with the most beautiful woman in the entire world and have some really wonderful first-class entertainment in Monte Carlo. Not eating Cheetos in the basement of Mom's house. So, yeah, have at it, trolls. Enjoy your life. Sorry it sucks. Why don't you try reading a book and doing something constructive with your life instead of just being a hater. Have a nice night.